This is lesson 12, addition and subtraction one-step equations. So the first thing we have to do is a few definitions. Equation is two mathematical expressions that are equal. A solution is a means of solving a problem. An inverse operation are opposite operations. That undo each other. So the inverse of addition is subtraction. The inverse of subtraction is addition. The inverse of multiplication is division. And the inverse of division is multiplication. So now, when we go to do our one-step equations, we have a subtraction property of equality, which means the subtraction property of equality states the two sides of an equation remain equal when you subtract the same number from each side. So now we've been doing these in a spiral, so we should be pretty familiar. We have x plus 6 equals 4. So in this case, we have a plus 6. So in order to solve this, we need to subtract 6 from both sides. We are going to subtract 6 from both sides. So we have x equals negative 2. So now we have our check. We always first we write our equation. So first we rewrite. Next we replace our letter with the answer that we think is correct. So 2 we replace our number, and third we do the math. In our calculators, we do negative 2 plus 6, which is 4. That's what we're looking for, so our answer checks. Our next question, we have negative 5 equals b plus 8. So in this case, what we do is we are going to subtract 8 from both sides. Because we have 8, we take 8 away, and we are left with b equals, we put negative 5 minus 8 in our calculators, we are going to get negative 13. So negative 13 is our answer. Now to check this, we have negative 5 equals b plus 8. So to replace b with negative 13, we have negative 13. Sorry, let me reset. Never change the look of the equation. You simply replace. So negative 5 equals negative 13 plus 8. So we have negative 5 equals negative 5. And that answer checks. Next, we have the addition property of equality. And that states that two sides of an equation remain equal when you add the same number from each side. So again, here we have a subtraction equation, and you can tell by the subtraction in the middle. So we have x minus 2 equals 1. So now, in order to solve this equation, we need to undo the subtraction or do the inverse operation. So in order to solve this, we are going to add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So x is going to equal 3. So now again, to check this, we are going to rewrite our equation. We are going to replace our x with 3. And then we are going to do the math. 3 minus 2 equals 1. Is that what we are looking for? The answer is yes, and our answer checks. Our next example, we have q minus 8 equals negative 9. So in order to solve this, we are subtracting 8, or a minus 8. So in order to solve this, we are going to add 8 to both sides. So by adding 8 to both sides, here we have complete opposites, so they go to 0, and we are left with q. And we are going to equal, here we are going to do the math, so negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1. And again, use your calculators. So our answer is q equals negative 1. To check our work, we have q minus 8 equals negative 9. So to replace q, negative 1 minus 8 equals negative 9. So here we have negative 1 minus 8 in our calculators, which will equal negative 9. So is that what we are looking for? Yes. And that's my answer. Okay. Our next question, and our final question, is regarding a real-world text. And it says, an angelfish can grow to be 18 inches long. If an angelfish is 10.5 inches longer than a clownfish, how long is a clownfish? Well, what variable will we use to represent the length of the clownfish? Well, we can use x. It says write an equation. Well, if the angelfish is 10.5 inches longer than the clownfish, we can write that as x plus 10.5, because the clownfish is 18 inches long. So now we have to solve and check. So our solve is going to be x plus 10.5 equals 18. So to solve this, we are going to subtract 10.5 from both sides. So we have x equals 7.5. So to check it, we have x plus 10.5 equals 18. And we're going to put in 7.5 plus 10.5 equals 18. And we're going to do the math here. And when we add this, we get 18. And is that what we are looking for? The answer is yes. And that ends our lesson for today.